Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. I like answering some of the questions in the comment section. I think there's a really good question here. And of course, it's from John Doe. It says, I wish I had gotten into investing earlier and found this channel earlier. I feel I am a year too late. Andy, would you say if you were in this situation, I accept it's not advice, just an opinion, new to the game with no money in it, but armed with this knowledge, would you personally be buying into these oil companies like NOG, RIG, SM, etc.? Right now, even though they're up hundreds of percents for the year. Thank you so much for your effort and daily updates. I watch them every day from the UK. So, yes, I would be participating in some of these companies. I would be looking for ones that are still down. Companies like the person below, Brandon Klosterman, had says, NOG is one that I am personally buying. I would also be looking at uranium companies because they are still of incredible value. Now, and what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to pull up some uranium information. I have a pound of U3O8 in gold grams, and we were going in this downward channel. It's a descending wedge, and we broke to the upside, and we're right where that star's at, because this was done by Camco in August of 2021. And there's another thing I want to talk about here real quick. Camco, I got this chart that was courtesy of Camco. Why are they pricing uranium in gold? I had some other people ask me some questions on why am I pricing uranium in gold? And what all that is doing is it's looking at it from an inflation adjusted price. Camco, which is the leader, is pricing uranium in grams of gold. I did it per ounces of gold. It doesn't matter. It's just a unit of measure difference. They're doing the same method that I'm doing. Why would they be doing that method? Because you need to know what the value is in relationship to a gold standard or some other asset. The acceptable asset for monetary, we'll call it monetary accounting, would be gold. So I just wanted to comment that very quick. Now, if you look at some of these charts here, in the upper left here, of the pound of uranium to gold grams, we just broke out of this pattern, guys. I mean, there is so much upside left here. It is absolutely ridiculous. I am still trying to buy as much as I can of uranium and oil and copper companies. And if you look at some of these companies, they are still incredibly low. And I've got some companies up here. They're in uranium. If you look at uranium in the back, previously, we are still scraping the bottom on deep yellow here. We're still scraping the bottom on Forces metals. Even though it has gone up a lot from its bottom, we are still incredibly cheap. On all of these charts that I've pulled up, Forces metals, Bannerman Energy, I've got Goviax uranium. It doesn't go as far back because the company's a little bit newer. Same with Global Atomic. And this is just breaking out of its 30-cent pattern here. It's back testing. This is like the perfect time to, I think, add into the sectors right now. And guys, it's not advice. That's just my financial opinion. But I am buying these companies. Encore Energy Corporation. Again, this thing is low, and we're going right into an uptrend. Laramide looks like it's barely even moving. Here's Energy Fuels. That is still incredibly cheap. Uranium Energy Corp is still cheap. Paladin's just barely coming up. And Denison Mines is just coming up out of its bottoms. To me, these all look like excellent buying opportunities. All of them. They all look good. The whole sector looks good. And why does it look good? Because we're just breaking out of this descending wedge and coming on higher. And if you look at the big diversified mining companies like VALE and Rio and BHP and NILSY, that's Norilsk Nickel, what they did is they broke their big patterns and they're coming back to backtest. It's a big pattern. This is a big boy move. I mean, it really took off and then it came back. And what they're going to say, if you're not we'll call it, entrenched in this stuff. They're going to say, "Oh, you're wrong. It's pulling back." It's like that's the biggest retest that I'm going to see, because the move that's going to come is going to be absolutely massive. We are still in the very, very early innings of this move, and you can see that with the CRB index in relationship to stock ratio. We are way, 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 way low. So what I am suspecting to happen is that we break out of these big patterns. They're going to backtest or retest. We're seeing that in those big diversified mining companies. We're seeing a lot of these other companies, royalty companies and whatnot. They're kind of coming back, even with gold and silver. Some of the base metals, they did their huge run, and now they're retesting. Lumber's already done it. And what everyone I think doesn't realize, this includes Kathy Wood and all these other people on Twitter and other even analysts and whatnot, is this is the original breakout, the big move. And then they're all coming back to backtest, even iron ore and all these others. When these things go, when they decide to unleash, we could see some really big moves. Big moves. They're going to blow past their highs, potentially. And obviously, I don't know this for 100% fact, but everything is aligning. We've got an expansionary phase of real estate. All the market conditions align with history of when these do break out. So everything is in alignment for it to happen. Now we just have to wait for it to happen. That's kind of my viewpoint on it. And with as much money in the system and how big the rotation of money can be, we can see some really big moves when that money rotates into our sector, because they can't absorb it. They can't absorb it because it's so much money that's going to have to flow over. And it's going to be from multiple sectors. So I suspect this to go up for a good long time. And I would also not get discouraged, even if you're in precious metals, in the short term. I think we're going to go way higher. I'm in this stuff. And someone may ask, what is the best buying opportunities at the moment? I would think physical, platinum, and silver are of really good value right now. And even gold. All three of those metals, I think, are solid. Physical metals, you buy the physical and get it in your hands. I think that's a solid plan for some of the money. Diversified mining companies, since they're down right now, I think those are solid. I would be looking at Norilsk Nickel, BHP, RIO, VALE, SOUHY. Those are some of my big ones. And now look at their dividends. Some of them are at like 10 or 11% right now. That is massive. This is such great value that I would be looking at those, right here, right now, even. Then you've got royalty companies, and royalty companies are ones that I like Nova Royalty, NOVRF, and some of the precious metals like FNV, WPM, Wheaton Precious Metals in Franco, Nevada, and Teuton Resources, my little, it's a smaller royalty company, but it's got a lot of leverage to the move. I've been buying into that one, and EMX Royalty. There's a whole bunch of royalties that I like. Sandstorm Gold. But I don't see the values all here. You haven't really missed much of anything. I mean, yes, you didn't get the bottom of the bottom. A lot of people are not going to do it unless you were very early to this channel. Because I was recommending a whole bunch of Canadian oil companies, and this was back in probably September, October, November of last year. So about 1 year ago. I was SM Energy. You can go back and look at my clip that I released on SM Energy and some of these other ones, and Tellurian, Grand Tierra Energy, and all these other ones. And even in this that I'm showing you here, like Forces Metals, these are all. I'm gathering as much money as I can to buy this stuff. I'm looking for any opportunity to buy it. I'm continuing to buy Nova Royalty, Teuton Resources, because for some reason, no one likes gold and silver, and it seems like Teuton has basically stopped going down. I think it's close to going back up, so I'm just piling in whatever I can. Whatever I can, as late as I can. I'm buying some of these uranium companies as well. If you're seeing them, I'm trying to pick off bottoms. So, for instance, like Standard Uranium, I'm trying to buy it for 25 cents. Some of these other ones, they're coming down. I'm trying to pick, off the support line, and it's just small amounts of money that I'm trying to cost average in and pick off wherever I can. So I think you haven't missed anything. You're still good to go. And my approach would be, cost average in, get a portfolio strategy going, and that strategy could be something on the lines of, I want so much uranium and oil and copper and silver, physical platinum. My viewpoint when looking at investments is, I always build my base first. My base is my physical metals. That's like the lowest risk. You're out of the system, and I think you're buying it at the best opportune time that you potentially ever could. I start there first. I built that up, and then I started building my portfolio of higher risk assets. Those are the mining companies, royalty companies, oil and gas companies, whatever you want to call them. That's that higher risk portion. My lower risk are like big diversified miners that pay a whole bunch of big dividends, and royalty companies and stuff like that. And I try to keep my portfolio size under 5% per position. I know it gets a little bit like a lot, but and then I swing for the fences on some of my money. I go for it. I use a little bit of money, and I go into the uranium exploration companies up in Canada. It's a high uranium concentrations up there, high percent. And if somebody can find something in a very easily to mine area, I think it's going to be highly valuable. So I put a little bit in what I think are some of the best uranium exploration companies up in Canada, and I spread it across, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many there is, and I bought all of them, a little bit in each. Because if all I need is one to hit really big, and I'll be feeling pretty good when that goes up 50 times your money or 100 times your money or whatever it ends up being, or 20 times. So, and then I've got a lot more money in these developing companies. They're developing mines. I know that they have the uranium. Now they just have to develop the mine to make it happen. So, I don't think you've missed anything. I think all you have to do is click subscribe, hang out with us on the channel. I'll chart a lot of different things. And I've been buying some of these that are down, like in energy service companies. HLX, Helix is one of them that I recently purchased. RIG is another. VAL is another, and NE. There's a bunch. I'll find companies. I'll share them on the channel here, and you guys can do whatever you want to do. If you do some further research into it, and whatever you decide, go for it. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys listening. This is Finding Value.